So there was this old bastard by the name of Red. This guy's nickname kind of had reddish skin like me when he'd blush, you know? Orangish hair, muscular stature, kind of like mine. He wasn't as tall as me, I'm 6'4". But this guy was awkward with women, okay? And his woman left him when he was in his 30s. This guy worked at a factory, had old grizzled hands, was raised in a strong conservative household, homeschooled his whole life when he was a child, through teenager. Went off into the workforce, tried to go to some one of the trade schools to be a welder, but ended up just working at a factory. So Red was an awkward guy. Hard for him to look in the eyes of the women he was talking to. It was crazy how this chick actually accepted him. She was more of a masculine kind of girl, his wife. She kind of is the one who initiated with him. Okay, so that's how we got with her. But of course, she got sick of it after some time, left him, divorced him, and that's when Red began his descent into madness. So if you guys will like this video, welcome to Haunting Tales. I don't want to scare you guys. This is now the weekend, and I know that Halloween's coming up, okay? So telling a story like this, I think it's good for our perspective. It kind of gets us into the spirit of Halloween, it's kind of fun. But this urban legend, which according to these locals is true as hell, destroyed a town, okay? So this guy, and this happened not too long ago. This is in the 2010s. Unbelievable. Happened in my state of Michigan. So Red was apart now from his children and his wife. Years go by. This guy hasn't touched a single woman outside of his mother. Through the divorce settlement, he was able to acquire his own house, a small little beat-up place in northern Michigan, and he continued his work. His finances started to dwindle, but what he did is he ended up getting a pit bull. All right? And he liked the dog. It was only attention that he got. He cuddled with the damn dog and everything else. And he ended up getting 2 pit bulls. He started going online on his cell phone, just sort of scanning through his phone. Boom, 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 boom. Just sliding right on every freaking chick that he saw. And obviously there's all the bots on Tinder, whatever those other apps are. Little bots. Hey, big boy. Hey, big, these chicks in little bikinis that are half his age. And he was thinking that he was getting some leverage. So he found himself talking to these girls, wasting time, giving them money. And eventually, all those roads led to nowhere. Red got nowhere with any of these chicks because they were probably dudes. And their profiles were just fake, some guy from India running the damn things. Just trying to extort money or whatever. Unbelievable. But Red delved into this garbage, and so he was sort of a roller coaster for him. He'd get excited about meeting abroad, and then it would lead to nothing, So he started to descend into madness. That's where these pit bulls come in. He began going to local dating groups through churches. And Red, being a mechanic, dirty ass hands, or not a mechanic, a guy who works at a factory, dirty, beat up hands, everything else, no social skills with the women. Obviously, he scared the hell out of whoever he talked to. He got kicked out of one of the dating groups because he creeped a girl out. He inquired with her on Facebook. After meeting with her, she didn't want to talk to him anymore. She told the leader of the dating group, and they asked him not to show up anymore. So he started going to ones that were further away from where he lived. Now, that particular girl who rejected him, her name was Aubrey, beautiful chick, a band girl, who played band in high school and college, ended up being a teacher, but was still single at 30 years old. This chick is the one who was freaked out by Red. Red, of course, knew where this girl lived, so he started stalking Aubrey, while at the same time going to the other dating groups that were about an hour away from where he lived. This is where his interests started to kick in. His interests in binding and gaining control over non-consensuals. It was just a hideous thing that he was obsessed with. One horrid evening when Red was watching this girl from a couple houses down, he had his little pair of binoculars at night. He'd follow her home. He followed her home one time so he knew where she lived, and he sort of made it a routine to stalk her. One time, he was foaming at the mouth in his damn car, drinking whiskey, with an axe in his vehicle, and he decided to get out and barge into this girl's house. He discovered Aubrey upstairs in her nightgown. All right, she was just getting out of the bathroom, sicko, when he surprised her in her own house. He barged through the door. Before she could react or call the police, he grabbed her wrist, threw the phone out of her hands, and started dragging her out the door when she was screaming bloody murder. He ripped off his shirt, wrapped it around her face so she couldn't be heard by the neighbors, and carried her to his car. He ended up stuffing her into the trunk. It was an old-ass car, 1980s vehicle, a sedan or whatever. The big old thick trunk didn't have any access from inside the car. It was closed off. So he slammed the trunk in her with his shirt wrapped around her face and took her back to his house. Somewhere in all of this hell and disgust, he ended up feeding this girl to his pit bulls. Those dogs ripped the hell out of this girl's body. Now, I don't know if Red had his way with her or whatever, but we do know the dogs half ate her body. He hacked her to pieces with his little hand axe, bagged up her body, and buried it in his backyard. Okay? Now, his house was a mess from this massacre. This bastard fed this girl to his dogs, basically. And unfortunately, his hobby didn't quite end there. Red went a couple months without going to any of these dating groups. He saw in the local news they were looking for this girl. No one suspected it was him. For whatever reason, it's unfortunate that group didn't point it out. But I think that the time frame from when he kidnapped her to where they reported him or they canceled him for being in the group was just too much time between, and she was acquainted with too many other men to where they had a lot of other suspects, but they just couldn't quite get down to the nitty gritty. So this disgusting guy ends up catching another woman. And this one he takes back to his house, does the same damn thing, feeds him or to his pit bull. I think that he had some sort of bitterness toward women. You know, like I said, he was rejected by so many girls. He just started to lose touch, I think, with reality, or with his concerns for it anyway. I think he became bitter toward the dating game, bitter toward our natural imperatives, being slaves to nature as we are. And out of witnessing the selfishness from other women, he became a manifestation of selfishness in himself, is my analysis. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's more to it than that. And that's where I need you all to step in and let me know what drives a man, or woman in some cases, to break down to these insane degrees. But Red captured another woman, hacked her to pieces, fed her to his damn pit bulls. The cops got him, they found him, they threw him in jail, and he struck fear throughout all this frickin' town in Michigan. And the whole frickin' state was terrified of this reckless murderer. And that was that. And you gotta be careful with who you talk to. You gotta be careful with who you trust. I know that they say there's a lot of incels out there or whatever, but I mean, you gotta be careful who the hell you talk to today, because sometimes bad things happen and sometimes people just crack. But if you will, like this video, stay tuned for more haunting tales. Let me know what y'all think about these things. But like I said, I'm okay with getting a little nasty because it's Halloween. You know, I'll tell you guys these urban legends that are a bit horrifying, and we need to learn from them and know that you just got to be cautious with who you trust, who you associate with, and never trust anyone too thoroughly, because you just never know. Anyway, I'll see you all later with more haunting tales from the Iceman.